Hey, what is going on, IK fam? BN, I'm back again today for another dope sauce video here in Infinity Kingdom. I am extremely excited to bring what I can only hope and imagine is going to be our best and biggest jumper project today. Yes, we are doing a new one, and today we are going to be explaining again some of what our goals and processes and even policies are going to be for our project in case you like what we have to say and what we're selling, along with what are some of the improvements that we're going to be looking to make from our last project to this current one, so we can hopefully help answer some of those questions as well. Of course, if you want more information on what happened in the previous one, again, one of my last videos, which is titled S36, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, you can also check out to get a little bit more information there. Let's dive in. So, currently, right, we started on June 7th. This was kind of a soft, I'd just say a soft opening, really. We promoted and recruited just some players internally within our Discord, along with some players that we had in game. And now we are aiming for sometime around kind of end of June, early July. Again, keep in mind these are soft dates. The most important thing is that we are finding the suitable and well fit leads or R6s for the project, in addition to just recruiting anyone and everyone that is interested in joining this project for what we stand for what we believe in, and for what our goals are for the server. Now, a couple things that we talk about with what some of our goals are. Obviously, we want to have really as many alliance leads as possible. I know some players may feel that having more or less brings their own viewpoints. I can tell you that from my experience, running a project where we had up to 15 alliances at the start was, even if though it was a lot, it was amazing, and it still worked out really well. Again, just through doing things like merging and condensing as you advance and farther along the map, a lot of these things just still become effortless as long as you just kind of know how to set up your processes, what your next steps are at that point. When you have bigger groups, right, it still can be very effortless to do. So again, what do we bring? Right, professional Discord structure, right, we have a multi-gaming community, right, we have experience in building and maintaining successful kingdoms previously, even just outside of doing specific jumper projects. Experience in recruiting, ICE, diplomacy, and other various departments, right? We have a walkthrough video that we provide for players when jumping. We also have a guide along with a lot of other resources on our server. In addition to that, we do weekly town halls, officer, and council meetings. This is all just to have good structure and good organization, not only from our management team, which is comprised of officers and leads, and of course department leads and members as well, but also so we can have a good, transparent level of communication to the player base. I think it's really important when you're able to engage and socialize with players more than just in an in-game texting or alliance mail capacity. I also think it's really great to socialize with players when you bring them onto town halls. It allows for players to engage in via voice or just in a real-time format, even if they're just listening and they're not able to talk. It is still a big benefit for where your group can go, something that we really pride ourselves on. In addition to that, right, we're really big on doing workshops. We do a lot of recordings and VODs that we'll upload so players can go and review or listen to a session or a town hall if they missed out. We take time to educate and teach players. I think that's a big thing that really separates our group from a lot of others, is we have a lot of pre-drafted mails. We take a lot of pride in custom writing mails for events, along with tips, best practices, how to really enjoy playing a game like Infinity Kingdom to its fullest, where you as an individual can get the most out of it as well. Again, some of the points that we talk about for kingdom structure, right, a big thing I always touch on is we want to have balanced alliances, right. This is going to allow for us to have a healthy competitive server, right, that's also going to be able to focus on AVA and SVS and basically get the best of both worlds. Specifically, AVA is the Illusion Battlefield that's out now. We want to have organized PvP instances. That's going to be for Contention of Lords, Kill Event, also for King of the Hills, Kill Event as well in Stage 5. These are things that we are really big on, being able to min-max or to take the most advantage out of these events, then also at the appropriate time knowing when it is good to do PvP, and then knowing when it's good just to do minimum rewards and minimum accolades that you can get to take advantage of. Obviously we cover a lot of that in our server as far as how you can really go about maximizing your account to the fullest. Running feedback rounds, right? Something we've done where we'll do, Google application forms as an example, where we'll send those out. Players in the server can provide feedback on their thoughts, how are things going, and then we usually talk about those things during the next town hall, even if there's individual questions during our live Q&A session that we do. All great things that we really enjoy doing in the servers that we're in. Now, our server hierarchy typically is pretty standard. Leadership, council, department leads, officers, council seats, we run 1 to 2 reps per. We have a Discord, and that's mainly just for our social hub, bulletin board, and area to engage. Splitting players up evenly. Again, we have a little bit of a different way we're going to go about most likely doing that this time around. We'll probably talk and touch on that a little bit more, especially if you join the server and you get a little more information. Now let's head over to our Discord server, right? And I want to talk about just quickly a few ways that we are going to be making some improvements that, again, I think it's really important when you have good self-awareness and you're able to reflect on the areas that you actually can make some strides in, whether that's just from general constructive feedback or from just doing a review assessment based on where you were able to get to, where you went, what happened in the server that you were in previously, or just anything that you noticed really that you feel could be an asset or a benefit going forward to do some changes or to add something on or edit. So a few of those are going to be, all right, we're going to be adding additional vetting measures to R6 leader applicants. So before, what we were doing is we had an application. I would do about a 30 to 45 minute voice interview, and then more or less, if I just liked what they said, if things added up, if there was any kind of background checking that we needed to do, we would do it. But now we're just going to add on kind of a second interview process where we'll have another kind of third party come in, someone that we know and we trust, and they'll basically just do like a second voice interview with any potential applicants, hoping that that may alleviate or at least reduce the margin of error there. We're going to be holding consistent R6 and officer meetings weekly. We're actually going to start doing this a little bit earlier than we did in the previous, is where we'll do it kind of during the pre-jump process, and then of course we'll already have that established going forward once we eventually get to the kingdom. We're actually going to be listing out a detailed city and event plans. I think this is really important because it provides visual timelines for players that are joining the project, so they can see what are the important events that are going to be coming up first, what are things that will eventually come up that we also need to address and talk about that they can at least get information from. And then from there, right, we want to make sure that we're only going to be pulling the trigger on jumping right when we're confident that we have, one, enough R6s, we feel good about the R6s, and then at that time we will go forward. That's why I mentioned in the beginning it's really more of a soft tentative date when it comes to us aiming for end of June, early July, even though it'd be great if we can still meet that. It's not an absolute. We're also going to take time, extra time and love, of course, in explaining the true benefits, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, when it comes to things like PvP, right? When are the right times to do it and why? I think one of the big things that a lot of players, that I notice at least, feel when they're getting into a kingdom builder is that, keep in mind, it's a war game. In addition to that, you also have a lot of content creators that usually talk about more kind of PvP war, level progressing content that all really kind of circles back around to the indirect of fighting, all right, of doing PvP. And though I love PvP myself, and I think the PvP they have in IK is really good, it still should really be taken with caution as far as when and where, right, are the right times to do it, and where are the right places to do it. Because a lot of what we see for servers is them just kind of getting out of hand when there is no level of structure or benefit. And then also, in addition to that, sometimes you'll see rules or policies that are created that sometimes only benefit the minority, and this actually happens more often than not. So those are things that will also take some time. Keep in mind, all positions are open right now. So if you want to apply for a leader position, if you want to apply for an officer position, you are more than welcome to, along with other department positions that we have here in the Jump Positions channel after you join, and then you'll essentially go to the reaction roles, you'll click the IK jumper right here, and then you'll get access to this jump project session. You'll go down to jump positions, and you can see we have brief descriptions. We have Google Forms that are specific to each candidate position that you're looking to apply for, with there being leader, officer, recruiter, ICE, and then also diplomacy. So again, just keep in mind, right, there's something more or less for everyone, especially if you're interested in a management type position, and currently everything we're recruiting for. So we're happy to see any applications coming through. There's usually about a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, if you're interested, whether you're a new player, if you're an existing player, I'll have a link in the description down below to our Discord where you can join if you're interested. And again, if anyone has questions, I'll definitely do my best to try and answer those in the comments down below as well, or link you to relevant content that may already give you an explanation or answer on a question you may ask. That's it for me. Man, we're excited. I'll definitely be posting weekly updates on how things are going with the new jump, and we're happy to see anyone new joining. Take care. Hope you have a good one. Peace.